Hi everyone, this is Jess, aka Sketch Writer Jess. I'm here to do a reading for Wisdom Wednesday, and today is going to be a relatively short one. I've been thinking about the moon and all the emotions that come with it. It doesn't matter what sign is going through it. Moon is always emotional for me. I have moon in Cancer, and my Cancer is my rising sign, so it's almost like I have Aries and Cancer as my sign, like the two of them together. So, it always affects me deeply, and I've had some thoughts of a person, and like I feel like I keep feeling like they're screaming out, like the moon is out there and they're like almost like screaming out at the moon. And I don't know if it's me feeling that way or if it's some telepathic thing, which I'm not sure that really exists. Well, I mean, for some people it does, but I mean, I don't know if it exists for me. But I've been trying to get my mind off of it. But I think when things get tough, that's the time when you really need to listen up and pay attention to whatever you're about to do. So what I'm going to do now is do the reading. I'm going to use the Rider Tarot deck. I have a book that I wrote all the meanings in, plus I add some of my own meanings as I do these. I'm still learning. However, I'm really beginning to come into my own, and I'm finding my voice, I think, when it comes to tarot. I believe that tarot cards tell the best tales. And you can learn so much insight from them. And people used to write literature for learning, to tell people about life. And I think that the tarot is really a good tool for that. So, what I'm going to do is ask Spirit today. I'm just going to ask Spirit in general, the universe. I'm going to pull the energy for today. It's 2 cards. One card is pulled, and then the other card is on the bottom of the deck. And then I will pull a card from Notes from the Universe, and that will just round it out and give me a writing prompt. This video has time for writing in a journal. What I do is I do the reading, and then I have a segment where I write. So when that segment comes up, I invite you to write. Write along with me. You're welcome to do so. So let's get started. Spirit, what can we learn today to help us deal with emotional entanglements? And with the moon, there it is. Doesn't matter what sign it's going through. I believe in astrology, but I guess I don't take it as gospel. Because if you do, then you're going to drive yourself crazy. And I know I went to an astrologer, and it took everything she said to heart. And it turned out she did sidereal time, and she was absolutely wrong about me. I mean, just flat out wrong. And I took it like she knew what she was talking about. So, yeah. So if you go to an astrologer, like, just don't take everything to heart. Same with tarot readings, same with anything where you're going to somebody for guidance. You could even say this about a preacher, or minister, or priest. They're human. They're not God. They're not angels. They're human. And so they're speaking from their opinion. They're speaking from who they are as a person. So it's their opinion. everybody speaks from an opinion guided by their heart or their head. And I think the best ones use their intuition to help guide people. I hope that when I do my readings for you, my tales, my tarot tales, my films, that you get some insight from it, but you always come up with your own thoughts about it. Always. It's always how it should be. So what can we learn? How can we deal with emotional entanglements, universe? Okay. Cut the deck. I don't even know if I should take these. They were in my reading yesterday. So I'm going to do it again. Maybe I'll call on my guides this time. Okay, so Mombasa, Chuck, Cal, and my angel Uriel. What could you learn to escape from emotional entanglements and do things that are positive? What can we learn? Gotta learn something. Okay, I think that's better. I'm sorry guys, I decided I want something positive and I'm fighting for it. I'm fighting for positive here. Okay, and we'll pull a card from Notes from the Universe. Sometimes I pull it out after I've done a whole reading, but because this is just a small reading, I'm choosing to do it this way. It just gets everything out on the table, so to speak. So what can we do that's positive to help us get out of emotional entanglements? Ha, I got two cards, so I guess we'll take them. Okay. Alright, so first, for the first two cards, and I'll just say a little bit about those, and I'll look them up in my book. In fact, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to write them down. I'll write down the meanings. And then I will tell you more about them. So we have the Eight of Pentacles. I won't show them until I start talking about them. Eight of Pentacles. And today is the 19th. Okay, so we have the Eight of Wands. Excuse me. Oracle cards. They chose you. And you'll find what you seek. Okay, I know there was a lot of quiet time, but I want to gather up my thoughts. It helps to gather them up, and I've been doing it in different ways since I've started these films, and I feel like having all the meanings that I think go with what I see as a whole in the cards really helps me to read it easier, to get the message across to you better. So this way I'm giving you a more fluid reading, because sometimes it gets a little choppy when I do it. So what I'm going to do now is tell you what I think is going on. I'm going to show you the cards, and for the oracle cards I'll show them and read them to you. So right now we have the Eight of Pentacles. See the guy, he's making something there. On the bottom of the deck, we have the Eight of Wands. All those wands flying. We have They Chose You. And you'll find what you seek. So let me read those to you, and then I will give you the idea of the general reading. For They Chose You, you might not readily believe this. It might even spook you a bit, but there are those who choose this very lifetime in large part knowing you'd be there. Now that's what we call a reputation. Hugs, the universe. And for you'll find what you seek, we have, if you've ever suddenly found and been loved by someone amazing, awesome, fun, and fantastic, chances are astronomical you will again. If you haven't yet found such a person, chances are astronomical you will. It's up to you, the universe. What I like to do before I write is I like to give an overall view of what I believe the reading means, and then I start writing. So what I'm going to do is I'll stop here, and then when I come back we'll start the reading and the writing portion. Hi guys, I'm back. Before we move on, I want to let you know something. What I meant to say earlier about my sign, I have my sun in Aries and my moon in Aries. My rising sign is Cancer. So the moon weighs heavily in my chart, and I feel like I have a double sign. I feel very much like I'm both signs. So it's a double whammy for me. And the moon is just awful. Okay. It's beautiful to look at, but it's always a pain. But if we didn't have pain, then we wouldn't grow. We wouldn't have any real reason to be living, right? So you just kind of have to deal with it. We wouldn't have the good without the bad. Okay, so what we've got here, we've got the Eight of Pentacles, the Eight of Wands, 2 eights, that's interesting. And then they chose you, and you'll find what you seek. So for the Eight of Pentacles, I wrote down commission and craftsmanship because, well, those are some of the words they say in the book, the little book that comes with the Rider Tarot deck. And I said that because I feel like with the Eight of Wands, it could be something where you get information about a commission. So, the wands can be some kind of message about that. There's anybody out there who does crafting, any kind of building of some sort, I think that if you keep in mind that if you just keep at what you're doing, at some point things will look up. I mean, that's what keeps me going. I mean, once in a while I do get a sale. I have like a very small amount of items in my shop, but I tend to sell more of my things in person. You know, someone sees it and they're like, oh, I want one of those, so I'll make them one or something. But the oracle cards are they choose you, or they chose you, and you'll find what you seek. And I think if you're building something, if you're crafting something, then you find what you were like, why you're doing it. Like, not only would you get a commission from somebody, but you would find the reason why you would take a commission. I know that sounds weird, doesn't it? But I think lots of people, when they are an artist or a writer, they tend to want to give up on what they're doing. They get into it for like a couple weeks, and then all of a sudden they give up because they're like, oh, I can't imagine doing the same thing every day. This is driving me crazy. I think, you know, this is actually a good card for writers too, because the guy is actually engraving these coins. He's engraving them with pentagrams. And I think, you know, with writing, you take pen to paper, you're like engraving the paper, you're putting your ink in there. And so this is a good writer's card too. So now what I'm going to do is write my poems. I write a regular poem with stanzas with my left hand, and I write my prose poem with my right hand. And I find using both hands they use different parts of the brain, so I get like a full-bodied message from my reading. When I watch the videos back, I'm always amazed at the insight I get when I write, because when I'm writing, I'm just in the moment. I don't think about editing it. I don't think of anything of that. I just write it out, and that's what I encourage you guys to do. So right now I'm going to start writing in my journal, and I invite you to do the same. Okay, guys. This is taking an interesting turn. The poem is very insightful, and I think that the prose poem is a little silly, but that's okay because I really wanted to be silly. I was having a real, just this horrible, horrible sensation of feeling like somebody was in a lot of pain, and I could feel it, and like I had no idea whether it was just me or what, but it's beginning to subside now, so I'm going to read the poem that I wrote, and then I'll read the prose poem. She wondered if she could work on the same project day in and day out. Then someone came along and said, I want one of what you've got. Since she had none of her wares to sell, she made him one. And in the making of her project, she fell in love with the process all over again. Here's the prose poem. He chose what I make, so he chose me. I wore what he liked to wear, so I chose him. We click together like peas in a pod. We are peas in a pod. We are what we eat. Weird ass stuff. Yeah, that's really weird. You know, I think the moon is one of those things it brings out the weirdness in everybody. And I don't know about that one, but oh my. So, what can we take away from this today? I think that the man, if you're looking for a man, or if you're looking for a woman, right, any sex, whatever, you're looking for somebody, and you're thinking, oh, you know, how are they going to fall in love with me? And you're an artist or writer, you do something creative. I think if somebody genuinely takes an interest in what you do for a living and just falls in love with it, I think they will fall in love with you. But of course it has to be mutual. I mean, you know, if there isn't any real feelings on the artist's part, then, you know, there's nothing there. But the artist feels something for the person who loves their art. It kind of like breaks the ice. And you know, I get lots of offers, lots of men contact me, and it kind of freaks me out when they do it online. So I'm always like, you know, if I meet somebody in person, then, you know, that would be better. You know, if I meet somebody, you know, I'm in a show or something, or I'm at a craft show, a gallery, whatever, and somebody comes by and they like what I'm doing, and we chat, and we like decide, hey, you know, maybe we'll go somewhere, hang out. I think that's a good way to meet somebody. Because the Eight of Wands is actually supposed to be like arrows of love. So I'm thinking that it's like love at the craft show. You know, you're sitting there with all your crocheted hats and your knitted hats. And you got some masculine ones and some feminine ones. And the man's like, ooh, look at that hat. I gotta go up north. I need a hat for winter. And you're like, oh man, he lives up north. I can't help it. I'm in the silliest mood today. Now, I can't tell you the pain I was in just thinking of somebody that I loved so much, and like I was just thinking of him in pain, and it was just awful. Oh God. Well, if there's one thing that doing tarot has taught me is that I can turn to the cards at any time. I can read the cards any way I need to get the answer I need at the time, whether it's tough love or not. And today I chose positive. I chose to do a positive reading. I said, I am not going to take those sad cards today. I already took those yesterday. I said, no. And you have a right to do that when you do tarot. Don't let anything push you around. Don't let your worries and your troubles push you around. I mean, sometimes you need to hear the tough stuff. And I think for what I did yesterday for the twin flame, it makes sense. You're going to have tough stuff. So I didn't mind it there. But I was like, no, this is an energy spread, and I'm in a pissy mood, and I am not going to take it. So I called them my favorite spirit guides and my favorite angel. And look what happened. So tomorrow is Talk Tuesday, where I talk about some of the products in my shop, and I also do a reading. Usually I only use the oracle cards, but I might do another one of these. I mean, just to extend it a little bit. I like how this one came out, and like having the two things, having the oracle cards and the tarot cards, just makes like a complete reading. You do one without the other, it's not quite as complete, in my opinion. So, also what I do on that day is I introduce my totems. I have totems that I've assigned spirit guide names to, and I have like a little doll that I think looks like an angel, so she's the angel that I like. And on Instagram, I'm Sketchwriter Jess. I put up the notes for these episodes about an hour after. The whole thing is up an hour after I've aired it. I usually put the poems in the comments now. I put the cards in the first part. So, if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe. If you don't like it, fine. Dislike it to your heart's content. Oh, I'm so unprofessional. I'm joking around. Oh, no. Now, if you don't think the joke is funny, well, that's one thing, but... anyways. I really, I enjoyed this reading. This is fun. And I hope you enjoy it, too. I hope you enjoy having that writing time and taking in what I said as a writing prompt. You can do this yourself. I mean, you just get yourself some cards and do it. You know, look up the meanings. Only pick a couple of them. You don't have to use all the meanings that it says. That's what I do. I only pick a couple meanings and then I go from there. So, I will see you tomorrow for Talk Thursday. Bye.